What is going on, guys, and welcome to this video that really wasn't even meant to be my WWE Fastlane predictions. I'm typically very busy on weekends these days, so I originally thought I wouldn't have time to record this, and to be honest I still don't, but a few people have asked me for it on Twitter, asked me my opinions, and you know what, I thought I'd put it up as a video for the rest of YouTube to share, and like, you know, maybe give me your predictions on Twitter, which is where you guys seem to love engaging with me. Anyway, let's jump right into it, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not that hyped for Fastlane because it's typically just your standard B-level pay-per-view, but with the road to WrestleMania kind of right in the bloody, not rear view, windscreen, that's not right, anyway, it's in front of us, it could be huge. There could be some huge storyline implications today. So with that being said, I honestly believe that there will be one or two shocks, but nonetheless, let's start off with the pre-show, and let's start off with Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas. I know he's just called Andrade, but to me he'll always be called Andrade Cien Almas. Simple enough for me. I'll be honest with you, why this match is on the pre-show, yet we have fucking, for whatever reason, Asuka versus Mandy Rose on the main show, and that's not a knock to either woman rather. I just feel like they've done nothing to build up that match apart from like 2 weeks, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Rey Mysterio and Andrade, they really have been feuding for what seems like a while now, but unlike most WWE feuds, this hasn't been your typical bullshit repetitive feud, because somehow it seems like every match is a new match with these two. But considering it is on the pre-show, sadly, I'm going to go with Rey Mysterio for the victory here, just to send the fans home, well, not send the fans home happy, LOL, to get the fans started off on a good level, get them hyped up nice and early for the show, and basically set them in the right direction. Another match that was added to the pre-show, the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. Damn it, I'm all over the place. You can tell I'm tired and not ready for this pay-per-view, but while Rusev was with Aiden English, he was one of the hottest acts in the company. Now they just put him with Nakamura, who also was one of the hottest acts in the company at one point. They desperately need a win here, and maybe on some, like, the New Day is being, you know, not beaten down per se, but, you know, maybe the luck is against them, the company is against them, narrative calls for Rusev and Nakamura to win here. But I'm still going with the New Day, man. I know that's really weird because WWE do tend to pull out one or two shocks on the pre-show, but sending both baby faces to win the pre-show is probably the right call because of the reasons I mentioned previously. Okay, right, let's start off with the main show. The Usos versus The Miz and Shane McMahon. For me, let's get the obvious out of the way, right? And I know I'm kind of skimming over these, but for me this whole card is fairly obvious. Let's just do the obvious thing, right? Shane McMahon or The Miz is going to turn on one of the other, right? Personally, I know Miz has been a bad babyface in the past, but if one of them has to turn, personally I wouldn't want any of them to turn. I don't really believe that's entirely necessary. Excuse me. I don't believe it's entirely necessary to have The Miz turn heel or Shane to turn heel. Maybe they just lose here and go their own separate ways and find, you know, I'm sure they can find something for both guys to do at Mania. I just feel like it leaves the future open for The Miz to use his friendship with Shane to get a WWE title opportunity, perhaps win it off Daniel Bryan, or even turn heel and win it off a newly crowned Kofi Kingston at some point. But anyway, I'm not predicting at the moment, I'm starting to fantasy book. logic dictates that the Usos will win. It's fairly obvious. I love going off on a tangent, me, but the Usos are winning this one, and I think they're winning it because of some mix-up or dissension. And then on Tuesday on SmackDown, we'll see Shane or The Miz turn on each other in some kind of segment there. Next up, another tag team match. The Boss and Hug Connection, Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Tamina and Nia Jax. I feel kind of weird, right? Because for me, you have to have had the belts won by a babyface team, in my opinion, when it first started off, right? That's just the way it had to be, just simply because that you got to establish the belts, you got to have fan interest in the belts when the belts first come to fruition, right? But then it's weird because they did it like 2 pay-per-views away from WrestleMania. So if Bayley and Sasha win here, what do? At Mania, you know what, I'm backing them to win here. Bayley and Sasha Banks to win, and then go on to challenge, or not challenge, rather go on to have multiple challengers at WrestleMania in like perhaps a multi-woman, I should say, tag team match with the likes of Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, possibly Dana Brooke and Natalya for some fucked up reason. So yeah, I'm going with the Boss and Hug Connection to retain, setting up a multi-woman tag team match at WrestleMania. Next up, we have the Revival, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, top guys in my opinion, versus Aleister Black and Ricochet and the team of Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Look, I'll be honest with you, I've got no interest in this match. I've got interest in the Revival, which is why they're my pick. But I do not, however, have any interest in Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, which is sad. And I don't have any interest in Aleister Black and Ricochet as a tag team. And I just want to point that out. As a tag team, I don't have any interest in them. They should be single stars. It's pretty obvious to me, at least, that Gable and Roode are in here, so they could take the pinfall to protect the newly called up Ricochet and Black. So that would be what is going to happen, in my opinion. Right. Next, Mandy Rose versus Asuka. Do you know what? Vince loves blondes. He really does. But they've done so much to rehabilitate Asuka. In fact, in my opinion, it's weird because this is the hardest match to call on the card. And it's so weird, man. Really, it's so weird. Because it just like came to fruition a couple of days ago. For me personally, I don't think Asuka... I know I'm going to catch heat for this. I know I am. But Asuka hasn't done a lot with the championship since she got it. All the way back in December, dude. That was like almost 4 months ago now. She hasn't done anything with it. And I don't think that's any fault of hers. But I just don't think WWE take Asuka seriously as championship material. I just think the whole thing stunk of needing it to get it off Becky Lynch to continue this storyline. I think my Universe Mode storyline is better, by the way. Check that out on the channel if you haven't already. But yeah, man. You know what? If Asuka retains here, then have Mandy win it at Mania. But do you know what? I'm going to put my neck on the line. You know what? I'm going Asuka. I mean, as much as I want Mandy Rose to win, I just think it would be too nonsensical to have that happen. So I'm going for Asuka for this, and then possibly maybe to lose it at WrestleMania. Right. Next up, Daniel Bryan. You know what? No, let's do the Shield versus the Shield versus Dean Ambrose. The Shield, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins versus the Baldies Unite. I don't know. I can't take credit for that. I saw that on Twitter. Baron Corbin. They're not Baldies Unite, are they? Because Drew McIntyre. Why Twitter? Why do you do this to me? Anyway, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley. Honestly, I see the three heels winning. I see either Roman Reigns turning on Dean Ambrose or Dean Ambrose turning on Roman Reigns. I really do. I hope to God I'm wrong, but that's the one prediction I'm going with that goes against my gut. I probably think that Dean Ambrose is going to turn heel. I think that enables Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose to have a WrestleMania match against each other. Dean's last match in the company, apparently. I still don't know if I believe that. And then you also have the potential for Seth Rollins to go off and not be distracted by anything else. I'm going for the heels to win with a shock turn, either before or after the match, probably before. Right, next, Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens. I think this is straightforward. I think Daniel Bryan's going to win. Kofi Kingston will get involved, somehow setting up either a one-on-one match or a triple threat at WrestleMania. Personally, I hope Kevin Owens wins. I've been clamouring to see a babyface Kevin Owens since probably a couple of months after he lost the Universal title, so I'm desperate for that. I really, really want to see that. I think that would be awesome. I really do. But Kofi Kingston will be in there as well at some point, and he'll cost KO the victory here, and then KO will probably turn heel again. See, you can tell I'm not into this, really, can't you? It's a bit of a clusterfuck, if I'm being completely honest, the pay-per-view itself. But the match I really am into, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, the winner. Well, I should say, if Becky Lynch wins, she is added to the World Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. To my knowledge, I didn't know that the Royal Rumble winner needed to bloody win another match to get their title shot. But whatever people say, however the people want it, this whole feud is a clusterfuck as well. I feel so negative in the last parts of this review, but it's true. And it would be such a WWE thing to ignore their own stipulation, have Charlotte Flair win, but have something like Becky Lynch kidnap Ric Flair till she forces her way in, even though Batista did that already. It's super weird, man. I've got to be honest, you got to go for Becky Lynch, haven't you? I mean, Ronda's probably going to get involved somehow. And, you know, from a storyline perspective, it would make sense that she, you know, almost causes a double DQ, but perhaps she hits Becky first, because, you know, she wants to get even with both women at WrestleMania, right? That both of these women, since Survivor Series, have been a constant thorn in her side. And by Ronda Rousey's logic, what better way to prove that wrestling is fake, wrestling is scripted, you know, these women can't touch me, as she says, than for bloody both of them to get fucked up by Ronda at WrestleMania. So yeah, Becky Lynch to win due to Ronda Rousey interference, possibly by DQ. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this video. Sorry it wasn't more planned out, more scripted, LOL. Rate, comment and subscribe. I'll catch you later.